Of all the new watches Rolex released in 2020, the one that might have been the most important might have been the one you missed. We'll talk about it. Rolex released a lot of new watches in 2020, and you might have missed one of the ones that really is the most important. There were so many new things to look at and shiny things to be distracted by. And the fact is, Rolex kind of even buries this watch on their website. It's a little bit hard to find, but this is the 124-200. It is the Oyster Perpetual 34. So it does descend from that original Rolex 1926 Oyster watch that really kind of set the trajectory for the watch, so for the watch company. Rolex calls this particular one the essence of the oyster. So really, when you think about it, they've stripped down everything that is superfluous, anything that's extra, and this watch is really kind of a pure distillation of what a watch is. Now, they've improved it. Of course, they make these watches better and better, not worse and worse over the years. And when we look at this one, it's kind of the ultimate expression of a 34mm Oyster Perpetual. You notice that in the Oyster Perpetual line, they've honed it down to just a lot of sizes now, not just a few. It's 28, 31, 34, 36, 41. That's the Oyster Perpetual line now. They did away with the 39, but they kept the 34. And so this is the same size as a historic Air King or the Rolex Date. It's a slimmer size watch for a man. If you want a watch that's maybe not so kind of in your face that it's a Rolex, if you want something a little more discreet, or if you're a lady that wants a bigger watch, this might be the perfect one. But what's interesting about this one, and where I say it, this might be the most important one that we all sort of missed at the first glance at all the new models, is that they've done so many different upgrades to this watch. There's a lot of people out there saying this might be the future of the non-professional watches. You know, the professional ones are the ones we consider the sport watches, the Yachtmaster, Daytona, the Submariner, the Sea Dweller, the GMT Master, the Explorer. Those are the professionals. The others, kind of more traditional classic watches, the Datejust and the Oyster Perpetual, this might be the way those are headed. So it's really interesting to see. They've upgraded the steel, of course, to 904L. Gone are the days of the 316 steel. Of course, they're now superlative chronometers, officially certified. They weren't always. They have the twin lock crown system so that they're water resistant to 100 meters, 330 feet. They have the lume is the blue chromolite. I mean, really, when you think about this, it seems like they've got all the same bells and whistles as like the new Explorer. It only comes in 4 different dial colors. So unlike those wild, crazy dial colors that you can see on the 36 and 41s, the only dial colors you get on this one are either silver, what they call bright black, bright blue, or pink. I don't have a pink one here, but you can see what they look like. And these are, they're radial dials. They have a texture that's really beautiful. But the star of the show here, the thing that really might make this one the most interesting and most important release of the season, is the new movement that's in this watch. And again, this was kind of under the radar. It's the 22-32 caliber. And what's interesting about it is that not only is it the same kind of new updated generation as all the other new movements they came out with, where it's plus or minus 2 seconds a day, but this one does not use that chronenergy escapement. Instead, it has a Siloxy hairspring. Now, what is Siloxy? That's one of those words that Rolex uses for their own version of something. It is a completely silicone hairspring. So it's different from the blue Parachrome hairspring. This one is completely silicone, which means it's amagnetic. There is no magnetic field that can affect it whatsoever. It's 10 times more shock resistant than a regular hairspring. The movement also has the Paraflex shock absorbers, and it does not use that chronenergy escapement, so it has a 55-hour pyro reserve instead of the 72. But this might be the movement going forward for all of the watches that aren't the professional models, because it's strange that they have come out with a movement for the 28, 31, and 34 Oyster Perpetuals, and then they're using a different movement for the 36 and 41. But that's the situation we're in. They're making two different kinds of movements at the same time alongside each other in the same product line. So which one is going to win out, or are they going to keep making them both? We have no idea. But this is really a dramatic shift for Rolex to, for the first time, use this Siloxy completely silicone hairspring, and for them to have still tweaked the efficiency out of the movement to get it plus or minus 2 seconds a day and the 55-hour power reserve. So look at these watches. When you put them on, it might be that Goldilocks size for you. A lot of people like the 34mm if they're not into the jumbo watches. And the fact is, a lot of people still have an affinity for the sizes of yesteryear. So if you like the look of the old Air King and the old Rolex Date, but you want the latest, greatest in their technology and their performance out of the watch, this might be the right one for you. One thing I want to mention on the clasp, of course this has the upgraded bracelet. The clasp is all new as well. It has the Rolex coronet is engraved into it rather than raised like the old clasps used to be. And of course it's the machined clasp. And one of my favorite features, it has the easy lock feature here where you can open and close the length of the bracelet by 5 millimeters at a time with no tools. It also has the divots inside the clasp to make the micro adjustment, and then of course you can take links out. So you can get a really precise sizing out of this watch. It really is going to be, for a lot of people, the perfect everyday watch, and a great harkening back to the spirit of the early Rolexes, but all of the modern conveniences.